Rise and shine, superstars. It's your favorite life coach, MB, and today is a great day. Why? Because you are still here. So stop what you're doing, scream out the top of your lungs, come through if you are so happy that God allowed you to see another day and woke you up this morning. Because the greatest way to start your day is with gratitude. And for those of you who may not know if you are indeed fact that you are still alive and you woke up and were blessed to see another day, I challenge you to spend some time with today and just reflect on your life and see if you can't find at least one reason why you should be thankful that you are still alive, because you're still here for a reason, and whatever situation you're going through is only going to be here for a season. So don't make a permanent decision based off of a temporary situation. And I want to leave you with this. Trees lose their leaves every single year, but they still stand tall, and so can you. All right, guys. So this week we are talking about our 6 key principles to accomplishing any goal, and we're using the word dreams, D-R-E-A-M-S, to guide us through those principles. So the first 4 keys that we talked about are discipline, resilience, excellence, and action. And today we are focusing on the mindset, mental mastery, because in order for you to accomplish your goal, you have to be able to master your mind, monitor your thoughts, and make sure that you are staying in line with the direction that you want to go mentally. Your body follows your thoughts. So whatever your thoughts say, that's where your body is going to go. And if you want to accomplish the goal, then you have to have the thoughts in line to do it. We have 4 different types of thoughts. We have negative thoughts, positive thoughts, past thoughts, and future thoughts. And I know what you're saying, well, what about the present thoughts? Aha. You don't get, it's coming to America, eat the soup, wear the spoon. Gosh, come on, guys. Y'all ain't, anyways. Yes, the present thoughts are a little tricky, because even if you're thinking of something in the future, it's technically a past present thought, because the present goes away like this. It's a little Alice in Wonderlandish for you. But so technically there's no present thought, because the present immediately becomes the past, even if you're thinking of something in the future. Now, within these 4 types of thoughts, you have 4 quadrants. You have negative past thoughts, you have positive past thoughts, you have negative future thoughts, and you have positive future thoughts. And there's only one of these quadrants that's actually going to help you accomplish your goal. And can you guess which one it is? You're absolutely right. If you said positive future thoughts, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. You just won a brand new car. Okay, maybe not a car. Or maybe you did, because if that is the goal that you set for yourself, then you are on track with your positive future thinking to align yourself to be able to accomplish that goal. And you just won a brand new car. Thinking, your thoughts are very, very, very important. And if you're focusing on the trifecta of the 3 quadrants that aren't going to get you anywhere fast, then you're just wasting your time, you're wasting your mental space, and you're wasting your energy. All right, so when I was a kid, I had this tricycle. It was a red tricycle. It had a yellow triangle seat. It had yellow handlebars. It had a big black wheel in the front and 2 little black wheels in the back. It's my Fisher Price trike, and I just thought I was so cool. Like, I was like, yeah, let's go. My brother's out here on a bicycle with no training wheels, and I got my little bike thinking I'm gonna be able to keep up with him. And I wasn't able to as well as I thought, but I felt good and comfortable and safe because it was low to the ground, and I didn't have to worry about losing my balance or falling over anything. And it reminds me of Bobby's World. There's this 90s cartoon show called Bobby's World. Did you used to watch that? Like, I loved Saturday morning cartoons, and Bobby's World was one of them. So Bobby is the main character in this show, and he too has his own little tricycle. And what happens in the show is he uses his imagination to turn everyday sayings into like over elaborate literal visions. And adults would say, oh my goodness, he has such an overactive imagination. That's what an adult would say. Well, an unsuccessful adult. Successful adults have overactive imaginations. That's why they're successful adults. They believe that something can happen that nobody else can see. But that's what the adults would say. He has an overactive imagination, but we all should strive to have an overactive imagination if we have specific goals that we want to accomplish. Well, anyway, so in the opening scenes of the show, he's on his tricycle and like he is getting it. Like he hits that pedal, pedal, 1, 2, boom. And he is like going through the hallways. He's ducking under people. He's riding up the steps. He's zooming all down the street and everything. He's pedaling through his imagination. Like he sees different things magnified in imaginative form. He's even able to keep up with his older brother who's on a skateboard. And he's still on this tricycle. Well, my tricycle was not like Bobby's tricycle. I mean, it looked like it, you know, because it was red with the yellow seat and the yellow handlebars. It got the big black wheel in the front and two little wheels in the back. But when I tell you my tricycle was not getting it like Bobby's tricycle, my tricycle was not getting it like Bobby's tricycle. Like I had in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm about to pedal to the end of the driveway and come back and pedal back and come back. Like I think I'm about to go somewhere. And as soon as I put my feet on those pedals, all I hear is whoosh. And if you had a tricycle, you know what that sound is. That's the sound of the front tire treading in place. Like it's you pedaling, but you're not moving. All because I had plastic wheels. Why you gonna give a little kid plastic wheel tricycle? Why do they make plastic wheels for little kids? We just want to ride too. So anyways, so that swish swish, it reminds me of what we were talking about yesterday, right? Those actions, those peripheral actions that keep you busy, that make you think you're being productive and going somewhere, but you're still stuck in place. That's exactly what the big wheel was, the Fisher-Price trike. That's exactly what it is. And so if we take this tricycle and we think of it in the form of our mental mastery, the two back wheels will represent your positive future and your positive past thoughts. And the big front wheel represents your negative thoughts, point blank, period. And I know you're asking me, why in the world would I say that the big front wheel, the biggest wheel on the tricycle, and is in the front, represents my negative thoughts? The biggest wheel on the tricycle is not only the wheel that has the pedals, it's also the wheel that has the steering. It has the handlebars, right? And here's what happens. Because we live in a world where most people aren't using their gifts, they aren't operating in their purpose, and they're not setting goals or accomplishing the goals they're setting, it's because they have this big wheel in their brain that is full of negative thoughts. And if your big wheel is being controlled with the pedals and the handlebars by negative thoughts, then you can't get to your goal the way that you're striving to get to your goal, because you're holding on to something in the past that no longer serves you. It can be resentment, it can be regret, it can be fear, it can be anxiety, it can be depression, it can be whatever you went through in the past, the woulda, shoulda, couldas, all of that. And you're holding on to it. You won't release it because what you know in the past, even though it's hurting you, even though it's painful, even though it makes you cry when you think about it, it makes you sick to your stomach when you think about it, it's a familiar pain. It's a familiar hurt. It's a familiar discomfort. And some of us subconsciously and consciously are holding on to that because we're familiar with it, and there's a subconscious and conscious fear or conscious fear of the unfamiliar discomfort that's coming in the future. I mean, you have to know life is uncomfortable, especially when you're doing something that most people think is wrong, because most people aren't able to imagine and step out in faith. And so when you're doing that, you have to step out in faith, but you're stepping out in faith into the world that's unknown. And you don't know what that world is. Like, you don't know what kind of discomforts you're going to face when you start actually chasing a goal that you set for yourself. You just know the discomfort that you face from holding on to what's held you back in the past. And God created this thing, it's called the fight or flight response, and it's all throughout nature. The fight or flight response is simply put like this. Whenever you are faced with something that you perceive to be dangerous or threatening, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to put the dukes up and get ready to throw a 2-piece and a biscuit, or you're going to drop everything. You're going to hit that Heisman. You're going to drop everything and run. Well, it's not really the Heisman, because the Heisman holding on to the football and then they push. Y'all don't. Stay with me. You're going to drop everything and run. That's exactly what the fight or flight systems are. Like, even snakes. A snake can be hungry for 3 weeks, and it just came across the perfect deer. It got it, ate it. Now he's just sitting there resting in the shade, digesting all of this food, and it feels threatened. Something in the atmosphere, in the environment comes at it. You know what it does? Regardless of how hungry it was, it vomits up what it just ate so that it can balance because of fear, because of that ingrained fight or flight protective defensive mechanism that God gave us. But the problem with humans, the ones who have dominion over everything, we use our fight or flight response incorrectly. We decide to hold on to fear instead of releasing it because we're afraid of the future. Now, the snake was like, look, I just ate this food, so technically it's in the past and I've satisfied my past need, but I want to live and I got somewhere I got to be next week. So I'm going to let this go, even though it was a positive, right? That was a positive. He satisfied and he fulfilled a need that he had or she had when it ate, but it let go because it had something that it wanted to live for in the future. But as humans, we have the audacity to think that the future is guaranteed. And then we're so afraid of what's unknown about the future that we hold on to the past, and we're using our fight or flight system wrong. We're holding on to it out of fear of what's to come as opposed to what we've already experienced and what we've been through. And we can't do that. We'll never be able to accomplish a goal that we set up for ourselves if we don't master our thoughts, if we don't take inventory of what we're thinking and how long we're allowing it to settle there. Because you have to think of your brain as mental real estate. And to my knowledge, we can't control our thoughts. We don't have control over what thoughts come up. Not to my knowledge. If we do, it's from an external factor. But we don't have control of what thoughts pop up in our heads. However, we do have control over how long we allow those thoughts to stay. And as the manager of your real estate, you need to determine if this is a negative thought that is popping up in my head, I need to get it off my property because it's not allowed to stay here. Or if you're holding on to negative thoughts, whatever happened to you in the past, the pain, the hurt, the regret, the fear, the disappointment in yourself, the disappointment in the decisions you made or other people made on your behalf, whatever it is, if you're holding on to that, it's like driving down the street in the neighborhood where all of the houses are run down. You have all of this real estate, all of this land that could be used and revitalized for something productive and positive and beautiful. But you got rundown buildings and houses just taking up corners of land that not even the homeless people want to live in. Like they just raggedy and run down. And that's what it's like when you're holding on to the past negative, even the past positive. It was beautiful at one time, but if you sit there and you're like some of those people that go back to the glory days and you talk about how good you were at doing this, that, and the other in high school and college, what are you doing? There's no way you can accomplish your goal if you keep looking backwards. Even a track star, if they're running and they got to catch that baton, they ain't looking back to catch that baton. They're putting their hand back to catch the baton, and they're looking forward because that's where they're trying to go. And they're praying to God that their other teammates have passed that baton like they were supposed to, right? So you have to focus on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and you have to master your mindset. You can't allow the negative thoughts to take up real estate in your mind because you won't be able, you're sitting here, you've done everything you're supposed to do. You've been disciplined. You've had resilience. You've been doing the tasks that you're supposed to do, the small things. You've been able to adapt to change and adjust to the challenges that come when you're facing life's adversities. You have an attitude of excellence. You're able to execute the skill developing tasks that take place in the dark, and you have the right actions. You're no longer focused on the peripheral. You're focused on the intentional actions that aren't going to have you busy in place, but going to have you productive and moving forward. And you're still wondering why in the heck your goal seems so far away. It's because you haven't mastered your thoughts. It's because you're allowing the negative from the past or the fear and the negative from the future to take up real estate in your mind, and you don't have space and time for that. You need to demolish whatever is holding you back, turn over the soil, plant some new seeds, and let it grow. Let it go to let it grow. Y'all like that, don't you? Me too. Let it go so that it can grow. Let it grow. Y'all ever seen those movies where you got, like, it's the scene where someone needs to be saved or someone needs saving, and somebody's running to save them, and there's someone up in the future, and they're running and running and running. They're getting closer and closer, closer. And just when they get like a fingertips length away from the person that they're trying to grab onto, the ground stands still and the goal keeps going forward. And it's like they're moving back, but they're standing still. That's what's happening. That's why you can't accomplish the goal that you set, because you're holding on to something and you're just running in place. And the ground is not moving under your feet. It's standing still because you're still thinking about what happened to you in the past and holding on to it like you can change it. Unless you can afford a time machine or afford to make one, you got to let it go. So I hope that you guys take this to heart. And today I just want you to think about, like, really, really be focused on what it is that you've been thinking. Look into acknowledging the negative thoughts when they come into your mind. Don't be mad. Don't get upset. Don't give your energy to the fact that, oh, why did I think that? No. Calm down. Master the thoughts. The master is calm in the face of adversity. Is calm in the face of fear. So all you have to do is acknowledge that the thought is there and then dismiss it. And you can replace it with something more positive or something that brings you joy. That's all you have to do, and your steps towards accomplishing your goal will become faster, shorter, and quicker, and you'll get there in a much quicker time. But you know what it is. If you don't remember anything else, always remember this. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be great. It's a great day to find the greatness in you. So go and have the greatest day of your life.